You are listening to an exclusive podcast on Money Control.
Hello and welcome to NSE Presents Invest O Cast, an exclusive investor podcast powered by Money Control. I'm your host Rishi K, and this podcast is all about getting your money to make better investments for you in the new financial year. Well, just like Rome wasn't built in a day, every important bit of work takes time. And the same is true for our investments as well. It takes the right amount of patience, long-term forecasting and planning to make the most from mutual funds. People are finally realizing its importance, with more and more people investing in systematic investment plans or SIPs. The popularity of SIPs or systematic investment plans has gone up in the last few years. Thanks to demonetization, many individuals discovered the charm of SIPs and mutual funds. However, it must be noted here that an SIP and mutual fund schemes are not synonyms. An SIP is a mere tool that helps you to invest regularly in mutual fund schemes, mostly in equity mutual fund schemes. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the benefits of systematically investing in mutual funds. Well, now's your chance to sit down, relax, and listen to the best of advice from the industry experts on NSE Presents Invest O Cast, because we're here to help you understand the benefits of SIPs and mutual funds, one of the most common investment tools of our time. With this, we're also going to help you make the most of your investments by getting the financial discipline in your life without wrestling with market moods, index levels, etc. National Stock Exchange, NSE, with the help of Invest O Cast, an exclusive investor podcast powered by Money Control, is committed to breaking the limitations of geographical boundaries and reaching investors across the country. In today's episode, we talk about benefits of systematically investing in mutual funds. To help us with this, we have with us Mr. Roongta. Harsh is a chartered accountant by qualification and a SEBI-registered investment advisor by profession. A veteran in the personal finance industry, he's conducted more than 50 investor awareness programs across the country. He co-founded Apna Paisa in 2000 in partnership with other accomplished industry professionals. Harsh has been a columnist in leading Indian newspapers. He also routinely answers queries on popular TV channels and websites. Welcome, Harsh. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing fine, Rishi. Looking forward to this conversation.
We're very, very happy to host you on the show today. And we'd like to know that I know that you're very, very passionate about financial education and awareness in this country. So most people, unfortunately think finance is complicated. And your attempt, obviously, is to break that. So tell us how you're going about that.
See, as I like to tell investors, finance is not nuclear physics. Okay, it's not even physics. Most people think finance is very complicated, and hence they tune out when people start talking of finance. So I think the whole attempt from our side has been to make finance more simple, essentially make friends with money. You are friends with people that you understand. That is the idea of all the investor awareness that we do.
I've been speaking to IFAs for years and years. Nobody has said make friends with money, make investments your friend. So I think that in itself is a very novel way of describing it, Harsh. Thank you very much. So you have been closely associated with the rise of mutual fund investments through SIPs all these years. I'd like you to take our listeners through what they are and how they're different, those measures.
So I think SIPs have become very, very popular now. And I think in general perception, SIPs are very closely related with equity mutual funds. That you invest a fixed amount every month into an equity mutual fund. Okay, there are more than 1 crore SIPs currently going on. But I want to tell listeners that SIPs have been around us for years. Think of the very popular recurring deposit. That is a SIP in a bank. I hope I'm not being a sexist, but you have lots of ladies who put in a fixed amount of money with their traditional family jeweler every month. The jeweler would add something as the interest, and that money would be used to buy something from the jeweler. Now, that is a SIP with the jeweler. So, any recurring disciplined investment is a SIP. It is only because of this campaign run by the mutual fund industry that the systematic investment plan has now become almost synonymous with equity mutual funds. That is very, very good. Systematic investment plans have been with us for quite some years or decades now.
That's really a wonderful way to describe it, to likening it to our everyday existence. Wonderful. Well, really, thanks for the insights. So, as you know, NSE presents Invest O Cast, an exclusive investor podcast powered by Money Control, is all about helping people learn about their finances on the go. And we've got to have some advice from you on the benefits that come with systematically investing in mutual funds for long periods of time, Harsh.
Since the today's topic is on SIPs, the reference to mutual funds, we will use it with reference to equity mutual funds,
Sure.
Because that is where it is mostly used, right? So think back. I mean, if I was to explain why SIPs in an equity mutual fund makes a lot of sense, think of this. You want to buy a commodity whose price you think over 10 years or 12 years is going to rise. You don't have the money to buy it and keep it today. So you decide to put in a fixed amount of money every month, irrespective of what is happening to the price of that commodity. Now the commodity is such that over 10 years or 12 years, it is going to rise, but month to month, it will keep going up and down. Now you are investing a fixed sum every month. So what happens in the month in which the prices are high? Obviously, you get lower quantity. What happens in the months in which the prices are low? Obviously, you get a higher quantity. Such that I think over a period of time, you average out the cost at which you buy. And please remember, if over 10 years the price is otherwise rising, you would have gotten at a price on an average which would be pretty attractive. That, I think, is the magic of SIPs in an equity mutual fund. It allows you to make sure that your cost is on an average much lower. Financially, in financial jargon, we like to call it rupee cost averaging. A regular housewife will understand this very easily. When the price is high, buy less. When the price is low, buy more.
Wonderful. The way you simplified rupee cost averaging. Like you said right at the top, it's not rocket science, and that's what you're here for, Harsh. Now, what are amount and quantity-based SIPs? That would be my next query to you.
So I think since SIPs have become popular, many variations have come out. And one of the variations that have come out is that instead of investing a fixed sum every month, you buy a fixed quantity every month, right? So if you were, say, doing SIP in a particular equity share, okay, instead of buying for a fixed amount whatever you get, okay, you buy that many equity shares every month. I think by its definition, the whole benefit of SIPs, as I explained in the earlier question, the real benefit comes from buying more when the prices are low and buying less when the prices are high. When you do a quantity SIP, that benefit does not really come to you. So I think a quantity SIP is a contradiction in terms. It is really the amount SIP which is the way to go.
So amount SIPs, keep that in mind. That's the way to go. How does one choose? There are so many options in front of us. How does one sit here and choose what is better for an individual?
So as an individual, as I mentioned, I think if the need for money is after a long period of time, at least 8 or 10 years away, okay, then in a disciplined manner, doing a systematic investment in a mutual fund, a fixed amount in a mutual fund, equity mutual fund every month would really, really be beneficial for a lay investor.
Let's now dive into some key features of systematic investment plans. Now that you've so beautifully explained to us what a SIP is, the various key features, characteristics of an SIP?
So I think the biggest feature of the SIP is that it is automated. I mean, you cannot have a SIP that requires you to write a check every month. Okay, the SIP should be automatic. The investment should automatically get debited. It becomes like a deduction at source, an investment deducted at source. That is what imparts the discipline to the investment. And just to sort of take you through the advantages. Uh, Now, I think most listeners might know that Nifty started on 3rd November 1995. That is a good 23, 24 years ago. Uh, any point of time, think of a 10-year SIP, monthly 10-year SIP. So 120 SIPs. Let us say you invested 10,000 rupees in for 120 months. You could have started any time after this Nifty started, which is 3rd November 95. You would have invested 12 lakhs, right? 10,000 into 120, 12 lakhs would have been your investment. The worst possible performance would have seen your money grow from 12 lakhs to only 17 lakhs, which is a return of around 6% per annum. On an average, your money would have grown from 12 lakhs to 26 lakhs, which is on an average a return of 15%. What I want listeners to remember is that this is the return at the end of 10 years. During those 10 years, right, the return values would have fluctuated wildly, okay, including being in the red, including being lower than the amount that they had invested. But in the end, at the end of 10 years, there has never been a period where 12 lakhs ended less than being 17 lakhs. That is the past. For 10 years, if you are disciplined, the beauty of SIP is it goes month after month. Governments come, governments go, natural disasters happen, natural disasters go, markets boom, markets go bust. And all this has happened in these 23, 24 years that Nifty has been around. If you have done it for 10 years, you have gained big. I think that really is the message for the listeners.
I'm going to just take a quick aside and presume there are first-time investors listening to us, Harsh. It's crucial for first-time investors who haven't started investing yet to know more about processes. There's always this thing saying, oh my God, there's going to be paperwork. The first time around, how much do I have to get in order? So just remove those cobwebs for us, please.
So I think like everything else, I mean, I remember at least from my generation when computers first came, there was this apprehension, will I be able to do this? Okay. And yet today I wonder how I ever functioned without the computer. So I think something similar for a first time investor, there is the fear of the unknown. If you have opened a bank account recently, you've gone through the process already. But if you are not confident, today there are so many online options that are available where you can do what is called a KYC, a know your customer. You have to complete that to be able to start investing. If you don't find yourself comfortable doing it yourself, you will find a friendly neighborhood mutual fund distributor. If your amounts are large, you can look at an investment advisor. Or you can go to your bank, there are plenty of options if you really want to start investing.
Wonderful. Now, I'd like you to round up the benefits of SIPs in mutual funds for us, please.
So I think the biggest benefit of systematic investment plan is that it imparts discipline, and the discipline comes through automation and rote. You do not need to take an active action for the investment to happen. In fact, to stop it, you need to do something. To let it continue, you don't have to do anything. So you are actually using the law of inertia to benefit you. So I think that is the biggest benefit of a SIP. Obviously, all the other benefits that we spoke about, the rupee cost averaging, buy more when prices are low, buy less when prices are high. That happens for you in a SIP. Over the long term, equity investment is very rewarding, and because of the disciplined nature, you end up reaping those rewards. I think those would be the three things that I would summarize for the benefits.
I like that you say laws of inertia benefit you. It's one of those rare fields where the law of
Absolutely.
inertia benefits you. Wonderful. Let's have a few words from you to encourage our listeners to make the most of SIPs in mutual funds. What would be your parting bit of advice, as it were?
So, a very popular advertisement in the 90s about a motorbike used to say, fill it, shut it, forget it.
That's right.
Right? I would like to say something similar about the SIP. Start it, continue it, forget it. It is going to be very beneficial for you in the long run. And long run means 8 to 10 years.
Wonderful. Listeners, we've had some really insightful points on what SIPs and mutual funds are with Harsh Roongta today. We also got some tips on how to pick the right kind of funds, how to make the most of them. And now I'm going to take you through it quickly in our Wisdom in the Bank segment. Make friends with your investments. Think of SIPs as recurring, disciplined investments. Rupee cost averaging is a powerful tool. Let it work for you. A quantity SIP is a contradiction. Fixed amount SIPs are better for individuals. Returns at the end of 10-year horizons are beautiful if you are disciplined. Processes are easy for first-time investors. Let the law of inertia benefit you. Harsh, thank you very, very much for helping us understand SIPs and mutual funds better. It was an absolute pleasure to have a man with your expertise on the show.
Real pleasure. Real pleasure, Rishi.
From today's session, we understood that SIPs help you to average your purchase cost and maximize returns. When you invest regularly over a period, irrespective of market conditions, you would get more units when the market is low and fewer units when the market is high. This averages out the purchase cost of your mutual fund units that use the power of compounding to help you make the most of it. And that's a wrap on our show, NSE Presents Invest O Cast. I'm your host, Rishi K, for NSE Presents Invest O Cast, an exclusive investor podcast powered by Money Control. To know more about our podcast, log on to moneycontrol.com and visit the podcast section. In case you'd like to address any of your investment queries on our show, do write into us at NSE Invest O Cast at nw18.com. NSE Invest O Cast at nw18.com. You can also reach out to us on Twitter at moneycontrol.com or Facebook moneycontrol.com. Do remember to use the hashtag NSE InvestoCast. Hashtag NSE InvestoCast. Thank you for listening. Disclaimer. The material on this show is for informational purposes only. Please consult a financial advisor before taking any financial decision.